Well, first of all, I don't know whether you want to talk about Blardoni or Svindal, because Svindal had such a terrific second run, but he was so far back in the end, it just wasn't enough to catch Blardoni.
Right, and Svindal's one of the guys who is going to be able to do it in GS if he keeps consistent like that. Wow, what a second run for him. Too many mistakes in the first run. But if you want to talk about mistakes, how about Bodie Miller? It was just like, here you go, Max, here's the gold. I just blew it again for some reason, and he just didn't need to go into that red panel so directly. He must have known that he was skiing well up top, making no mistakes, but definitely handed the victory to Blardoni today.
Well, it seems to be with Miller, we've seen that checkered history, win or blow it, win or blow it. Today he blew it, yesterday he won it, so I guess he's in line for a win next time out. All right, the Canadian story, Thomas Grandy 14th, Francois Bourque, top 10, great for him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good result for Frank, and I know he wants to win. He's definitely the guy.
There's plenty of sunshine and, more importantly, plenty of snow. It's the second men's slalom of the season. Hi there, ski racing fans, and welcome to Rogers Sportsnet's continuing coverage of World Cup Alpine Skiing. Jerry Dobson here along with Brian Stemmel. Glad to have you with us today. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. That's the refrain. It's a Christmas refrain, actually, but folks in the World Cup circuit are pleading for the white stuff right now because there just simply isn't any in Europe. So the World Cup ski season is on hiatus right now. There's absolutely no racing this weekend. So as a result, we will take you back in just a few moments to the last slalom that took place last Sunday in Beaver Creek, Colorado. But meanwhile, Brian, there is some racing scheduled in the upcoming weeks, but it's not good.
Well, they've scheduled a race for tomorrow in Rydalom in a super combined race, and there's no snow there actually either. They've managed to just make man-made snow down the side of the hill, and if you do go off track and fall, you'll be in the mud. That's how bad it is over in Europe. So the weather's really wreaked havoc on the World Cup schedule and circuit over in Europe right now.
And it's too bad because it's been a great start to the season for our Canadian team, both the men and the women. Podiums already, 3 of them in fact, so it has been a terrific start. Maybe a bit of a surprise, maybe not, but at any rate, it's been great.
It has been fantastic for the Canadians, and it all started here in the men's downhill in Lake Louise a couple of weeks ago with Manny Osborne Paradis. And a big surprise, he hadn't skied that well in training, but he really isn't known as a training kind of guy, and he really put down a run that day, finished second in the standings. And then what happened the next day? Wow. Young John Kuchera, look at this, starting number 1 out of the Super G start in Lake Louise, starting a little bit further down from the downhill. Just skied a fantastic race, really clean skiing the whole way down this mountain. Fabulous day for Johnny Kuchera, and he hung on to the lead throughout the race to claim his first victory ever on the World Cup. And then we got to the women the following week, 1 week ago exactly later, the next Sunday, and Canadian Kelly Vanderbeek, who was such a disappointing 4th in the Olympics last year, but she wiped that memory clear from everybody, finishing 2nd at this time. She got bumped back to 3rd, but 3 Canadians on the podium to begin the season is a fabulous result for the whole program.
Now, a reminder, this shows you the results before the race we're about to show you, which took place last weekend in Beaver Creek, Colorado, in the men's slalom. A 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd. So terrific results early in the season before they even get to the European part of the season. And speaking of the European part of the season, there isn't much to report on that front. But what does that do to the momentum of the team when you have all these great results and then all of a sudden you don't know when or where you'll be skiing next?
Well, I talked to Paul Christophic today, the head coach of the men's team, and he said, hey, we want to keep racing. You have to keep that momentum up. When you have confidence, it's so important in World Cup skiing, as it is in any sport, but more so in skiing because you need so much courage. And when you have that confidence, it's easy to do well, and the Canadians have done well. It's a different story over in Europe when you get over there on the Europeans' home turf, but when the Canadians are skiing well right now, they want to continue that progress.
So once again, as I said off the top, we will take you back to last Sunday. 6 Canadians entered this slalom. So on that note, let's take you back, the men's slalom from last Sunday at Beaver Creek, Colorado. Conditions are perfect for today's race. Maybe a little bit on the cold side, but very nice. Lots of sunshine for the slalom. We don't show that many slaloms, a completely different animal than we're used to with the speed races, but let's get this underway. Starting it off is the 23-year-old American from Park City, Utah. This is Ted Ligety.
And coming off a 3rd place on Saturday in the giant slalom, he actually broke his hand about a month ago on the glacier in Pitztal, Austria, and re-broke it again yesterday in the GS. So that's got to be tough for Ligety skiing down this difficult slalom in these bitterly cold conditions. And you can see Ligety absolutely going for it, the Olympic champion in the combined, so he knows how to ski both slalom and downhill. This is on the bottom portion of the downhill, this slalom course. There's kind of two types of snow here. Aggressive snow, which means it's really grippy, and then really super icy conditions that they had injected for the downhill, so it makes it very difficult to kind of get that feeling. But Ligaty's happy with that run. That looked like a good one.
There's Ligety through the first slalom of the year. For the record, he didn't qualify for a second run. As you watch now, Thomas Grandy, the veteran Canadian who finished 8th in the first slalom, the only other slalom that has taken place so far. And here we go now from Beaver Creek with Thomas.
Well, and what Thomas says, every time he gets in the start now, he's looking for a win. Not that he wasn't before, but he actually believes he can do it now, and that's the huge thing with Grandy. He said you need to ski 2 perfect runs in the slalom to be able to be on the podium, as he was 3 times in a row last season.
Well, and I think it was last week we were talking about Grandy and how he's actually sort of turned into a better slalom skier than a GS skier in some ways, even though earlier on in his career, GS was his thing.
Which is surprising because he has had a lot of injuries in his career, and slalom is tremendously hard on your back. All this pounding, all those gates whacking you in the shins and the arms, but Thomas knows how to control that, knows how to stay in top shape and avoid some of those injuries, and boy, he's doing it in slalom as well.
So there's Ligety, who was first out with his time above Thomas Grandy, and Grandy is 3/4 of a second behind. See if that gets him a second run. Another look here at Grandy.
And there's one of that flush 3 gates set straight in a row. Pretty good run for Thomas, nice and solid, nice and balanced. You can see how short his skis are. About 153 centimeters.
On course now, here is a slalom specialist, if ever there was one. 11 victories for Giorgio Rocca over his career. He's 31 years old now, but he's already made the podium this year in that first race. He finished 3rd.
When he had the flu last week, he actually on that 3rd place finish in Levi, Finland, he had his toe frozen, so a lot of bad luck for a guy who had tons of luck at the beginning of last year, winning 5 in a row.
Well, look at his interval time there, half a second faster.
And he's just so solid. Doesn't ever seem like he's going to make a mistake. Whoa! Looked like he straddled there. Oh, yeah.
He's out. Rocca is out. 11 career victories, 3rd place last week, or last time rather, in the slalom. The first time out. What happened here, Brian?
Took that blue gate a little too tight. You can see his left ski tip just catch that blue gate, and you have to get both ski tips around the gate to consider it a legal run, and that was definitely a little illegal trying to take the shortcut there.
Here's Benjamin Reich now, the winner. Oh! Jeez, he didn't even give me a chance to set him up, Brian.
2nd gate, and he's out as well. That's such a fine line in slalom skiing because you're coming so close to the gates. Look at that, 2nd gate, and that is hugely disappointing. You have to get up early, you have to inspect the whole course, and to go out so quickly when you're wearing that red leader bib is extremely disappointing for a guy like Benjamin Reich, who expects to win all the time.
Well, and almost in every discipline, too. He's been a terrific all-around skier the last few years. Now, a young Swede. This is 23-year-old Andre Mirror, who's never won on the World Cup circuit. His best ever is a 2nd. That was last year, a couple of years ago in Kranjska Gora.
Well, and he is considered one of the great talents for the Swedish team. A lot better program on the slalom side than they do on the downhill side, where it's only Patrick Yarbin racing for himself. But along with teammate Marcus Larsson, who won in Levi, Finland, these Swedes are really coming on. Said he's really motivated by the World Championships in his home country, and wow, he's just letting it all hang out down here.
Well, Ligety still has the fastest time, but Mirror had some great interval splits. Let's see if he takes the lead, and he does. By quite a margin, too, 0.8 of a second. Andre Mirror of Sweden has taken the lead, but remember, it's just the first run. A long way to go yet, but we are underway in Beaver Creek. Michael Janik, one of the rising young stars, had a great finish to the season last year with a 4th place finish at Shigakogan. High expectations, or at least relatively high expectations for Janik this year as he gets set to start this slalom in Beaver Creek. 7th in Levy to open the season. Now skiing out of Whistler. Let's watch him go.
And I think that was a big thing to get some good solid finishes at the beginning of the year for Janik, because last year had a few DNFs to start and didn't really get rolling till the end. He's made an equipment change this year, changed from Solomon to Rosignol, and he said just feels really solid on his new equipment. Whoa, little bit of a bobble there. But skiing pretty aggressively.
Not that far off Mirror's lead time either.
Yeah, I'll say Mirror's quite a bit in the lead, so this looks like a good one for Janik, but we've seen a few guys go out here. Seen Roca go out.
Roca went out, Benjamin Reich went out. Michael Janik hanging on here, doing well. Good looking time as well. Slowed down, lost some of the pace of the lower part. A second back, but look at that. He's pleased with that. Good chance that will get him a second run. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, absolutely. That was a fabulous run. And he skied well all summer, and that's a kind of transition you have to make in from that summer training into the new racing season. And great line through that flush and a heck of a run from Michael Janik. Wow.
Now, there are 6 Canadians entered in this race. Here's another one, another youngster. This is 23-year-old Paul Stutz of Banff.
And his dad's the mayor of Banff, so you can be sure that he's looking on. A little disappointing start for Stutz. 31st in Levy, so just missed out in that qualifying. That's what these youngsters have to do. Just lay it out in the line so they can make it in that top 30 to gain a second run, have a chance to gain some World Cup points and some valuable experience.
NorAm Cup champion from a year ago is Paul Stutz. Graduating now to the big time. He raced a little bit last year in the World Cup circuit. Expects to race a whole lot more this year.
What amazes me most about watching slalom skiing now is just how fast it is. Just coming barging through the gates. These guys have to be so quick, just like cats, and Stutz is doing it.
Paul Stutz has a good time. Look at him diving across the finish line. 2.5 seconds back. 3 seconds back almost, but he's there as we now turn our attention to 24-year-old Ottawa native Patrick Biggs. Interesting background for this guy, eh, Brian? His mother is Canadian. His father is American. He was born in Australia, and he's out of the race.
Oh, coming right into your living room there was big Patrick Biggs.
Didn't miss a gate, but effectively, that'll really take the time out of it.
Well, and as I said about Reich, you know, you spend all morning warming up and inspecting this course, all week getting psyched up for that day, and boom, 5 gates and you're out. So this is just a little more experience for Patrick Biggs here, and he put on an impressive show in Levy. Started number 53 and finished 19th. And he was 14th here last year, but I'm afraid that mistake and that one is going to cost him his day.
So that's a disappointment for Patrick Biggs there, having not, you know, missing out early in the run and then missing out completely down lower. So he's done as we turn now to J.P. Roy of Saint-Flavie, Quebec. Didn't finish the race in Levy. The way it's going right now, he'll be happy to get down to the bottom.
That's a big thing with JP finishing, and you can see his timing was off right at the beginning up start. Wow, and he's down again. That's unbelievable for this guy. Just had really bad luck, bad focus, bad whatever it is. He just can't seem to finish.
Nothing good for J.P. Roy on this day. Last Canadian, 24-year-old Ryan Semple of Mont-Tremblant.
And he's in the back seat as well. You can see the conditions more difficult for these later racers. Those ruts definitely making it extremely difficult to get down with a great time and try and qualify for that second run. Semple looks all right here, but you can just see his speed isn't quite there. Getting a little low, getting chucked out of the line and into the soft snow, and that's not the best place to be. Now he's going.
Going nicely, in fact, is Ryan Semple.
Oh, yeah.
Good run for Ryan Semple. Picked it up there at the end, and he'll get himself a second run. So the first run is complete. Sweden, is first. Ted Ligety, the American second. Felix Neureiter, third place. There's Michael Janik, the top Canadian, in fifth spot. And there will be other Canadians getting a second run here. Thomas Grandy, Ryan Semple, Paul Stutz. Unfortunately for Patrick Biggs and J.P. Roy, they did not get down to the finish line in this one. So we are halfway through. The first run is complete. The second run still to come as the men's slalom in Beaver Creek, Colorado continues here on Sportsnet. It's beginning of the second run at the men's slalom in Beaver Creek, Colorado. And the last qualifier, so first to go, reverse 30. This is Jimmy Cochran of the United States.
And just snuck in there, actually finished 31st, but one racer was disqualified, so Cochran gets a second run, and he'll be happy about that. Got a lot of family in the finish. His cousin's racing. His other cousin is on the women's team. So big ski racing family, the Cochrans. And he just said he's trying to keep pace with Ted Ligety. That's all you have to do on the U.S. team. Ted Ligety is the best slalom skier, and Cochran with a big mistake right there.
Cochran is from Burlington, Utah. He did ski in the first slalom in Levy, finished 15th in that one. And so Cochran first in the second run, or first skier out of the gate in the second run, and there is his time, so he sets the standard.
And this course is set by the Croatian Andres Kostelic, who's the father of Ivica and Janica Kostelic, and a little difficult set here. Cochran had some difficulty with that, but we'll see how everybody handles this course. And Kostelic always sets these weird courses. 3 more gates on this one than that first course, but that first course was a real smoker.
On course now, Alexandre Anselme of France, a 26-year-old. Haven't seen all that much of this fella over the years. Didn't finish the race in Levy, but he's qualified here for a second run.
And just some really nice turns down there. You have to get most of your turn finished by the gate, have your hips in great position so you're nice and early in the turn. Then you can just release that edge, move across the hill to the next gate. Don't want to be grinding too much on your edges. Anselme seems to be doing that quite well here, just nice and smooth. Saw so many guys have difficulty in that first run. This kid's just breezing down here. Doesn't look like he's having any difficulty.
Anselme, for the record, had the exact same time as Jimmy Cochran in the first run, but holy mackerel, not in the second run. Much faster for Anselme of France. Now, here's the first of our Canadians who made a second run. This is Paul Stutz.
Only 2.59 seconds back in that first run for Stutz. He'll be happy with qualifying from the number 43 position. Only 4 guys from behind him in the start order beat him on that first run, so one of those guys was actually Patrick Biggs, the other Canadian, but wow, just a great, or sorry, Ryan Semple, but a great first run for Paul Stutz.
Let's compare him now to Anselme. Oh boy, he's good.
And Anselme is so far ahead, but I think it was because of that big mistake that Cochran made in the middle of the course. Look how much speed you carry right over that red tail jump. A flush, which is 3 gates in a row, carrying a lot of speed into this last pitch. Hang on, Paul. Look out. He's just closing his eyes, putting his arms up in front of his face so he doesn't get hit by any of the red or blue gates, and he's made it.
Well, you say hang on, literally hang on. 1.7 back. That's still a good day for Paul Stutz here in the slalom at Beaver Creek.
And you can see down here at the bottom, just snaking his way through these last gates, through that hairpin and through the last few. Good for him to hang in there when he made so many mistakes coming into that section. He wasn't that far behind at the interval, but lost a lot on the bottom part of the course.
On course now is Ivica Kostelic of Croatia. Didn't finish the first slalom of the year back in Levy. 7 slalom wins in his career.
And trained by his father now that Janica is sitting out for this year and regaining some of that support from his father, and hopefully set a nice course for his son here. Whoops! Straddled that gate.
That's it for Ivica Kostelic here in the second run, midway through.
Well, no help from Daddy there, I guess. Coming into that red, just hooked that red gate with his right ski tip, and the nice thing about that is you got your father to blame for this one.
Well, once you're out of the gate, you're on your own, aren't you? Out next, this is Anton Lahendepraj of Sweden. And here's a youngster, just 21. We have not seen him before. Lahendepraj, Sweden, qualified 19th.
I'm not sure you've ever pronounced his name before either, Jerry, but you did a nice job of it there. And he is one of the youngsters. That's what you're seeing a lot on the World Cup circuit these days, especially in the slalom. A lot of these young guys coming from absolutely nowhere. They've adapted this new technique in slalom. Seems to be easy to ski if you can actually make it down without any mistakes. And for a tall kid from Sweden who has a lot of guys to gain experience from in front of him, that's what you just have to do. Learn from those guys and not make any mistakes down here.
Lahendepraj with some pretty good interval times here. Anselme, who was second out of the gate in the second run, still with the standard, but you got to believe Lahendepraj can't beat him either. So still a good run for the youngster. Remember, he's just 21, but Anselme continues to hold the lead. And remember, he qualified second last. So he's really picked up the pace here in the second run. Paul Stutz sitting there in second spot. We will continue from Beaver Creek, Colorado, in the men's slalom in just a moment. We stay maybe a little on the cool side, as Brian pointed out earlier. In fact, it is quite cold, but it is clear sailing for the slalom race in Beaver Creek, Colorado. We are nicely underway in the second run, and we're getting a look now at Ryan Semple, who got a second run here, and he qualified 17th, 1.8 behind the fastest time set by Andre Mirror of Sweden.
Oh, no.
We saw that in the early going in the first run, and now we've seen it right out of the gate with Semple.
And that was such a great run for Ryan Semple, that first run, coming from that 69th start position all the way down to 17th. You just see his skis jet out there because he sat back in the back seat, did a little 360, managed to stay on his feet, but that's extremely disappointing when you have such a good first run.
Well, the anticipation must be high after you have a good first run and you think you're really going to do something big in the second run, and then the rug is pulled right out from under you. As we move along to Axel Svindal, primarily a speed skier, but here he is qualifying 16th, 1.7 behind.
It's better to do it that way. You have a good first run than see you yourself go out like Benjamin Reich did on the second gate. Svindal skied really well in the super combined race on Friday. It was actually second in the slalom, 11th in the downhill to take that victory, and he's got the lead now. So he knows how to ski slalom. Don't forget, kids, he's not just a downhill or super G skier. He can do it all.
Well, he's showing that here with a pretty decent second run in the slalom. Anselme still with the best intervals from earlier on, and he's still got it.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake coming into that last section of the course, and he will definitely be disappointed with that result.
Here now is Daniel Albrecht from Switzerland. Just 23 years old, an up-and-comer on this Swiss team, and they really need something, don't they, the Swiss team?
Yeah, they sure do. They've started to come back a little bit this year after getting hammered the last couple of years in the paper by the press and the media over in Switzerland, but anything can happen in a slalom. It's a bit of a lottery. You don't know what the other guys are going to do. It's you against the course, and we've seen so many guys hook tips and go out on the first and second run already, and wow, Albrecht almost a second lead right now.
Finally, somebody who appears to be faster than Anselme was.
Just good balance skiing from Albrecht down here. Straight through that four-gate flush, snaking his way to the finish. This looks like a good one.
Daniel Albrecht may finally be the man to take the lead, and he does by a third of a second. Daniel Albrecht of Switzerland unseats Alexander Anselme from the top spot. Now here's 28-year-old Patrick Thaler of Italy. 3 career top 10s in slalom, nothing better than 7th.
You're
However,
kidding me.
My goodness, that's the fastest ever.
Look out. He is one unhappy ski racer right now, and I would be too.
Brian, these guys aren't even giving me a chance to introduce them.
That was crazy. The very first gate. Oh, that sucks, doesn't it?
But really, that's a huge mistake on his part. How do you do that?
Hey, I don't know. I don't ski slalom, so I've never done it.
Oh, my goodness. Patrick Toller hits the very first gate. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and he is done. As we move along to another youngster, this is 21-year-old Jens Bigmark of Sweden, who already posted a 6th in Levy. So this kid has what it takes, despite his young age and his inexperience.
Well, he sure does, and he showed that on Friday in the super combined as well. Finished 23rd in the downhill, but moved way up in the standings to 15th because he was 3rd in the slalom. So this is one of the guys that you have to watch out for on this second run.
And we all know that Sweden has a history of producing great technical skiers.
Well, Ingemar Stenmark wasn't bad, was he?
That's who I'm talking about. Bigmark has a long way to go to approach that status, but he looks like he could be a good one.
Yeah, he only needs 85 more victories.
Well, we've just seen a new leader in Daniel Albrecht. How about Jens Bigmark? Not quite second place right now for Bigmark. Nearly 3/10 of a second behind, but there are still a lot of racers to come. Albrecht in the lead. Bigmark second. Alexandre Anselme, who had a terrific second run, sits in 3rd spot. Paul Stutz in 11th, representing Canada. Still more Canadians to come. Thomas Grandy will come out of the gate, and so will Michael Janik, as we return to Beaver Creek in just a moment. Thomas Grandy gets set for his second run here in the men's slalom at Beaver Creek. He was 12th after the first run, 1.5 seconds slower than the fastest time set by Andre Mirror.
Time for Thomas Grandy to shine in this second run. Seen a lot of guys make mistakes. Seen Taller go out the very first gate, so Grandy's way by that one.
I'm still stumped by that. I don't know how you can do that even if you tried, but Toller pulled it off. Meanwhile, Grandy chasing Albrecht.
Just nice and solid and balanced, losing a little bit of time. Has to let his skis go a little bit here, maybe hanging on a little too much. Got a little light coming over that last roll, and this is where you have to let those skis do the work down here. Don't hang on too much. Just snake your way down this bottom part of the course.
Crunch time down here as the gates come at you fast and furious. Grandy moves into 2nd spot. Still a number of guys to come, and remember, they were faster than Grandy in the first run as we take another look.
Just got caught a little bit there in the gate, but managed to get that left ski back on the ground to make that right-handed turn. Only 8th on that second run for Thomas Grandy. A little bit better than the first, but still a lot of guys to come.
Now you're watching Finland's Kalle Palander. The 29-year-old was 11th in the opening slalom at Levy.
Well, and that was just remarkable for me, coming back from a torn ACL, which happened in the finals in Åre, Sweden in March. So very speedy recovery, returned faster than expected. And
well, and Palander's as good as it gets in this discipline, isn't he? 10 career wins in slalom.
oh yeah, and champion a couple of years ago, so he knows how to do it. But when you have an ACL injury, those injuries still play in the back of your mind. You don't know if you still quite have it, but he proved that in Finland, that there was still a little bit of fight left in him. Whoa! Almost out there, managed to hang on.
Albrecht still in the lead. Palander through. Going to be tight here. No, he won't do it. Palander falls off a little bit, as Daniel Albrecht, who qualified 15th, still holds the lead as we're down to the last 7 or 8 skiers here. This is Stéphane Tissot, 26-year-old Frenchman, who just missed the podium in Levy, finishing 4th.
Just missed the podium here last year. He was second to the great Giorgio Rocca. So Tissot got to be one of the favorites, you would think, going into the second run. Timing's crucial down this steep part of the course. Boot topping every gate. Nice and balanced, but losing time again.
Tissot was 1.24 back. Oh, and he's missed a gate.
What happened there? He even looked back to say, hey, what was I doing in my course inspection? Seemed to pull it through that flush all right. Maybe he hooked that the second gate of the flush. That's what it seemed to be. Seemed to be the difficulty for Tissot there.
So Tissot is out. We're down to the last 7 skiers. Here's Pierre Bourget, 30-year-old Frenchman. 3 wins over his career, but none recently and nothing today. He's not off course. Well, he might as well be, because this is just a finish now, because he can't catch up now.
Well, and that's what the racers have to do. They have to climb back up to get their boots going between the gates. He actually didn't make that gate in the first time by, so you had to climb up and try it the second. But that's the difficulty of these snow conditions, and he's out. Those icy snow conditions combined with the grippy snow conditions makes it difficult for you to trust your skis and trust your edges. Sometimes you lay on it, and those skis will really arc. Other times they'll just slide out. Bourget, you can just see, got his hips caught behind him and almost into those course workers, but he managed to put on the brakes twice in that run.
Boy, this one's going to come down to winning by default if we're not careful here. Just a half a dozen to go. Rainer Schoenfelder, 6th after the first run, 5th in the opening slalom at Levy.
We talked about the Swiss taking some heat in the paper a couple of years ago for their lackluster results. Now the Austrian media is doing that to the Austrian racers because they've had some poor results to begin the season. Normally they own Beaver Creek. Herman Myers won here a number of times. But it just seems like the other countries are catching up. I talked to Fritz Strobel in Lake Louise, and that's what he said. He said it's not that we're that bad. It's just our programs work so well. Other people have copied us. And wow, Schoenfelder's out too.
Man, oh man. That's 3 in a row, is it? Schoenfelder is on the sidelines after this with a little flourish at the end.
You can bet Thomas Grandy's smiling in the finish right now, watching all of these guys go out.
Well, you automatically keep moving on up if the guys ahead of you keep dropping off. And that's what's happened to Schoenfelder here. And so Albrecht leads. Thomas Grandy is actually in 2nd spot right now with 5 skiers still to come. Paul Stutz in 15th. And remember, one of those 5 is our own Michael Janik. And that's all that's left. 5 skiers to go in the men's slalom at Beaver Creek.
Years still to come, and remember, Thomas Grandy is sitting in the 2nd spot right now. Will he be able to hold on to a podium finish, or will he get pushed aside? And how about this man, 24-year-old Michael Janik, starts with a 1.02 second deficit.
And you think that he could hold up that lead that he's got right now, training with Grandy all summer, being one of the leaders in summer training. Probably got a good course report from Grandy. And oh yeah, keeping up with that margin. He's looking pretty good right now. One thing that some youngsters do is hang on a little bit too much. Janik doesn't look like he's doing it right now. He is letting them go.
7th in the opening race at Levy. Almost a podium late last year. He's getting closer and closer. He's doing well. Here comes Michael Janik through the finish line. He's got the lead by a full second with just 4 skiers still to come.
Didn't hold back at all. What a great run from young Michael Janik. And boy, is he happy.
The run of his life for Michael Janik has put him in the gold medal position here.
Got caught back a couple times in that lower section coming over the red tail jump. Managed to get his balance back. And just a great performance in the last few gates. Yeah, take a bow, dude.
Michael Janik skiing out of Whistler in the lead position. Thomas Grandy gets bumped down to 3rd spot right now. There are 4 skiers still to come. So, time to be biting your nails, ski racing fans. Cheering on for both Grandy and Janik to make the podium as we have to watch
Pranger, Neureiter, Ligety, and Mirror. And here is the first of those four. This is Manfred Pranger, 28-year-old Austrian, 9th at Levy. He's got a couple of wins in his career under his belt.
And we've seen 7 guys go out on this run already, so you can bet Thomas Grandy and Michael Janik are hoping for the same thing to happen, but Pranger has to do his job here, stay focused, stay in the course, knock those gates out of the way. And these gates hurt, folks. Minus 14 degrees in hard plastic.
I think they'll put it out of their minds for the few seconds here down in the lower part of the course if it means getting onto the podium, and that's Pranger's goal right now. Let's check that time. There's Janik in the lead spot. Pranger coming through. And Janik will keep the lead. Pranger was slow, bumped down to 5th, 1.37 behind.
Not sure why he's pumping his fist. He shouldn't be happy with that run. Only 15th on the second run.
Only 3 to go. Here is Felix Neureiter, 22-year-old German. And pretty rocky start up top there.
Well, his bloodlines are pretty good as well, just like Jimmy Cochran, the son of the 76 Olympic triple medalist Rosie Mittermeier and slalom champ Christian Neureiter. So you would think that gained some experience from the parents, and he's admittedly said he skied too conservatively over the last couple of years, just skiing too safe, and he's doing it again here.
That's a terrible interval up top, almost a full second, with still the bottom part of the course to come.
It just shows you how well Michael Janik skied on that second run. Doesn't look like Neureiter is going to be able to touch him.
Neureiter will probably not be able to touch him as Janik still has the lead. Neureiter picks it up at the bottom and moves into second, but Michael Janik is in the lead spot with 2 to go. Here's the second to last skier. It's Ted Ligety, the fine young American.
Ligety, oh no, straddled
Ligety
and he's out.
Ligety gone. Only 1 to go. Michael Janik in the top spot right now with 1 skier still to go after Ted Ligety misses a gate.
Wow, unbelievable how many guys we've seen hook tips today. Whoa, there we see Ted Ligety do it with that right ski tip. Sometimes you just lay on that edge, you're too aggressive, those short skis bite too quickly, and man, that's unbelievable.
And so right now, Janik is on top. Thomas Grandy is in 4th spot. There's only 1 guy still to go. Yes, that's right. It's Andre Mirror, and here he goes now. Mirror from Sweden. Fastest man in the first run. That's why he's last here right now, and it's all on his shoulders. And no doubt he has watched all these guys ski out ahead of him. And when I say ski out, I mean missing gates and going off course.
Yeah, a lot of the guys will stand in the start and watch the guy previous to him so they get a feel for the speed, they get a feel for the rhythm, and I don't know if that's going to hurt him watching Ligety go out. But he's got a second lead. Let's see what the interval says.
Well, if he keeps it clean, he should have a pretty good chance. And there you go, 4/10 of a second right now, although that's a chunk of his lead gone, but still in the top position.
But you can't pick up too much momentum once you've lost it at the top. Seen a lot of guys ski conservatively down here.
Here we go. Is it going to be Mirror or Janik? Janik with the fastest time until Mirror comes through. Let's see. Mirror has it. Mirror by 7/10 of a second. That lead from the first run paid off, and so Andre Mirror of Sweden has captured the men's slalom at Beaver Creek. But what a terrific performance from the young Canadian Michael Janik, finishing in 2nd spot as a result of Mirror's run. Janik gets moved to 2nd, and Thomas Grandy gets moved to 5th. There's the celebrations, and that is a happy day right there for these guys who are on the podium. Andre Mirror, it's all about getting a great time in the first run and keeping it together in the second run, isn't it?
Well, that's basically what both of the guys did, Mirror and Janik. And Neureiter and the rest of the guys just couldn't seem to pick it up. Ligety went out. And these guys are extremely happy. Janik's first podium, Mir's first win. A lot of smiles in the finish area, a lot of congratulatory hugs from the coaches.
Well, on a day when a lot of skiers went out, one hitting the very first gate, if you can believe that one, this is the end result. Andre Mir of Sweden is your winner. Michael Janik, his first podium, finishing in second spot, continuing a great Canadian season. Felix Neureiter finishing third. Thomas Grandy finishes in fifth. A great result in its own right. And there's the rest of the story. Paul Stutz getting a second run, finishing in 20th spot. Ryan Semple, J.P. Roy, unfortunately did not get second runs, and they finish out of the picture here. So once again, Andre Mir of Sweden pulled it off here, held it together under what had to be a lot of pressure.
Well, absolutely, under extremely difficult conditions, never being in this position before with that lead in the start. And he just skied a fabulous second run, making no mistakes and hanging on to that victory to bump Michael Janik off the top spot of that podium.
So after two slalom races, there are your standings. And look at that. Michael Janik leads the way based on a top 10 in the first race and then a second place finish here. Andre Mir in second after the 100 points for this one. Thomas Grandy in sixth spot in the slalom standings after two races. The overall on the World Cup circuit looks like this. 7 races in the books. Svindal of Norway leads. Kuchero, the top Canadian. Janik behind him. And Grandy after that, after 7 events.